What is going on, everybody? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys an NFL Week 15 video, and I'm giving you guys a 20 Guru credit code, as I've done every week this NFL season. Excited for this slate. We have all the bye weeks done, so we see 15 games on this main slate, 7 in the early window. Sorry, not on the main slate. 15 games, including the 2 Monday Night Football games tomorrow. We have 13 games on this main slate, 7 in the early window, 5 in the afternoon window, which is really nice. That afternoon window looks stacked. And then as FanDuel is done, Sunday Night Football is well on this main slate, where DraftKings does not have it. I'm going to talk about not only my favorite value play at each position, but other guys you could be looking at. We do have some questionable guys, but nothing really that serious. Drop a like on this video, subscribe, and let's have a huge Week 15. I'm very excited for this slate. I think there's a lot of great ways we can go about it. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. At quarterback, I don't know why we don't spend up on Josh Allen again. This guy has been elite. I would be doing him a disservice if I didn't play him again this week. He carried my main slate hybrid and cash lineups to victory last week because they weren't looking that great. And then Josh Allen went on to score 55 fantasy points, the most fantasy points I think ever. Obviously, we don't expect that again, but he is projected for 23.5 fantasy points, which is the highest mark I think I've ever seen. Love this matchup. Not only is Josh Allen great, but the matchup's great. This game is going to be the best game to watch, maybe the game of the year. Can't go wrong with the Bills and Lions. We have a 54 over-under. I don't know if I've seen an over-under higher than that this year. 2.5 point spread. The Bills are underdogs. This game should be awesome in every which way. I think spending up on Josh Allen is the way to go. And if you don't want to spend up on quarterback, that's fine. I'm not in love with Lamar Jackson against the Giants. They could end up blowing them out where they don't really need him. Jaden Daniels, I don't love. Joe Burrow, he's kind of expensive now, but he obviously has a great ceiling. There are some value guys. Kyler Murray against the Patriots. The Patriots' pass defense has been terrible. I would think differently on Murray if he was at Gillette Stadium on the road. Tough environment to play in. But he's at home in Arizona. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a dome. So Murray at home here against a Patriots defense that's just been really bad overall, especially against the pass. Sub 8K looks really good on him if you wanted to go that route. He's projected for almost 19 fantasy points, so he looks like an awesome value play. I like Justin Herbert a lot against the Bucs. This Chargers and Bucs game has a 45 over-under. Herbert's at home. Good environment. They're 3-point favorites. And then, I'm really, really rooting for Jameis Winston. I know a lot of the NFL community would like to see this Chiefs team lose because they just keep getting bailed out. They should not have the record that they do. I'm not even like an ultra Chiefs hater. It's just been ridiculous, the record that they have, getting away with things at the end of the game. And I love Jameis Winston. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for Winston at home against the Chiefs tomorrow. The Browns are, 4.5 point dogs. I kind of like them money line in this game. It'd be awesome if the Browns win, but Winston always has a great ceiling, especially when he's an underdog. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot, but Drake May at 6,900 looks great. He should be, down in this game. The Patriots are 6-point dogs, and I'm not too worried about the Cardinals passing defense. Ranks in the bottom half of the league. So Drake May could be really good at 6,900 as well. He dropped 20 fantasy points against the Colts last week, and he's been pretty good. At 6,900, he really only needs to get 15 fantasy points, and we're going to feel good. He's averaging 15.6. So until Drake May gets into the mid 7Ks, I'm going to be looking at him every week, especially when they're playing a bottom half of the league defense in the Cardinals. For running back, It's going to be really hard to get away from Chuba Hubbard. Great matchup against the Cowboys. I think this is the first time all year the Panthers are favored -3 at home against the Cowboys, and Hubbard has been great. What helps him out, I mean, as an NFL fan, it's tough to see, but Jonathan Brooks, another ACL problem, probably going to be out all of next year. I mean, now his career, short, young career is in jeopardy because of, back-to-back injuries. It's just brutal, but in terms of fantasy, we still have no, I can't think of his damn name, but whoever their normal backup is, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is still not going to be back. Blackshear, who knows what kind of touches he would get, but it's Chuba Hubbard's backfield on Sunday, and he should absolutely cook. Cowboys rushing defense, one of the worst in the league. He should be low 8,000s, if not 8,500. So 7,500. He looks like the best value at running back for Sunday, and we just get a rare favorite for the Panthers. 43 over-under, pretty high over-under. I think Hubbard goes off. He's projected for 17 fantasy points. I would not be shocked if he gets over 20 on Sunday. I expect big things from Hubbard. And then another guy you could look at, an honorable mention, we have Kenneth Walker, doubtful again. So Charbonnet is going to be tough to avoid. He's sub 7K. I don't know why his price didn't go up after last week. The guy was unbelievable against the Cardinals. 22 carries, 2 touchdowns, 60 receiving yards, 38 fantasy points. Now, we obviously don't expect that again, but we know what he's capable of. And this matchup against the Packers is by no means a good matchup. But he's going to see a ton of touches again. Sub 7K obviously looks good. I think even with this tough matchup with no Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet should never be sub 7,500 as the main guy for the Seahawks. We can project him for over 15 fantasy points, which makes him look like a great value play as well. So if you wanted to go cheaper than Hubbard, Charbonnet looks pretty good at $800 cheaper. For my Guru credit code, go to my website, fd-guru.com. Most of you guys know this, but make an account. You get free credits to start, no credit card required. Just got to validate an email. Go to the shop page. This is where you get all of my FanDuel and DraftKings lineups. You buy these credits and use the credits on my site for lineups, NBA main slate lineups. NFL, I offer a bunch. You can go on the NFL pages and look at the slates that I do. This week's code is NFL 24 for the year, and then the week 15. All capital letters, NFL 24, week 15, you will get 20 free credits. Again, just like this video, subscribe. I do appreciate you guys. Really looking forward to this NFL slate for week 15. For wide receiver, we have some things going on in the questionable department. We already know George Pickens is going to be out again, and it's just going to be a toss-up with those receivers. Van Jefferson, Pat Freiermuth is going to see some extra action like he did last week. Is it Calvin Austin? Yeah, Calvin Austin could be in play. Van Jefferson, as I said. But it's just, you can't really depend on any of those guys. Who knows which guy's going to do well. But we have George Pickens out. We have a huge piece. Ladd McConkey probably won't know his news before lock at 1 o'clock Eastern because they're in the afternoon game at 4:25 Eastern. He's questionable. I think it's truly a 50-50 thing with him. He missed last game. If he hadn't missed last game, I would feel a lot better about it. But he looks like a 50-50 guy. He would be a great play at 7,100 if he was playing. But that obviously, with Will Dissly out for the Chargers, if McConkey misses too, we're going to have to be looking at guys like Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnston. So keep an eye out on that. Josh Downs is questionable. He's missed the last couple of games. Sterling Shepard's questionable. We already know Cedric Tillman is out again. So there's a couple of things to monitor. Again, like any other NFL slate. And injury news, we don't really have to hold our breath on it because they're really good about letting us know things. The NBA, I don't even have enough energy to even begin thinking about the NBA injury news. But the NFL is a real stress-free thing most of the time. For wide receiver, though, you could look at guys like Jerry Jeudy. He's, never screwed me this year. Every time I pick him, he scores. And he's obviously an elite option for Jameis Winston against the Chiefs defense, who isn't that good. So I don't mind Jeudy. His price has gone up to $6,900. I am going to pick for like the third or fourth consecutive week in a row, I think. Calvin Ridley just shouldn't be $6K. He's the number one receiver on this Titans offense. We have a 46.5 over-under. Titans should score. They're 5.5-point dogs. This game script really fits the passing game for the Titans. The Bengals pass defense, it looks like they are number one in the league based off of this, but I don't know if this is trustworthy. The desktop version of FanDuel has been wrong a lot on the defensive stats. Whether that is first or not, I don't really care. I'm going to look at what Vegas likes, and it's 46.5, and they're going to have to throw the ball. And Calvin Ridley, he had 12 targets last week. He was a little bit of a disappointment, only 9.4 fantasy points. The week before, he had a 50-yard touchdown called back on a penalty. So, he's getting things going against him. Karma speaking, he's due for a big game. And at only 6K, he needs like 11 or 12 fantasy points to hit value. He's projected for 13 right now, and his upside can be as good as any other receiver on this slate for Sunday. Really like Ridley at 6K. I don't know why his price keeps going down, but he looks really, really good to me. I keep picking him to score, and I just think he's due. I'm going to have to get involved with a Calvin Ridley touchdown again this week because I've dug myself too deep of a hole. I think I've done it the last 4 weeks, and, the 1 week I don't bet it, he will score, so I kind of have to bet a Calvin Ridley touchdown the rest of the year for my own mental sake. But I do like Ridley one way or the other. Really good price at 6K. Another honorable cheap mention. I don't know why his price went down so much, but with Tillman continually being out for the Browns, Elijah Moore is $4,700. He's $200 off a minimum salary. He looks like one of the best, not only one of the best very cheap value plays, but one of the best value plays on the slate. Njoku's questionable, by the way, but he said he's hoping to play. Who knows about that? We'll have to wait and see. But Elijah Moore is the number 2 receiver behind Jerry Jeudy. So I don't understand why he dropped so much in price. At $4,700, he needs like 7 fantasy points to hit value. He just had a week 2 weeks ago where he had 14 targets against the Broncos for 111 yards. 4 weeks ago, he had a touchdown and 66 yards. He's at 85 yards in a game. With Winston throwing to him, I mean, look at these targets. 12, 9, 8, 5, 14. Wasn't great last week. Really tough matchup against the Steelers. Only 4 targets. But Elijah Moore is 100% in play at $4,700. That price is wrong. And he might even find his way into my cash lineup for Sunday because we don't need much from him. A few catches for 40, 50 yards, great. If he scores, I mean, he's going to be a huge piece in lineups. And I think Elijah Moore, it's not like some random wide receiver like, Calvin Austin or Van Jefferson on the Steelers filling in for George Pickens. It's an established guy who's been a number 1 or number 2 receiver for a few years now. If you remember him on the Jets, he was a number 1 receiver before Garrett Wilson. He's used to the volume, and I think he could strive in this matchup against the Chiefs. I was shocked to see his price at $4,700. He should be closer to $5,700. But keep an eye out on Elijah Moore. He could be a difference maker on the FanDuel slate for Sunday. For tight end, tough to not go back to Hunter Henry. I don't know why FanDuel's not changing his price. He's now $5K. I mean, the price is too cheap. I was talking about Drake May earlier. This Cardinals passing defense has not been great. He's arguably the number 1 target for Drake May. And they're 6-point dogs. The game script is great for them to be throwing. He's projected for 10.5 fantasy points. At 5K, if he gets us 8 or 9, we're going to feel really good. He got 11 last week for us on 9 targets. 3 straight weeks with 8 or more targets. 4 out of the last 5 weeks with 8 or more targets. Drake May looks to Hunter Henry. I like him a lot here. It's tough to get off of him. He should be like almost 6K. So this price, like I was saying with Elijah Moore, this price is just wrong at 5K. He looks like the best tight end value play on this week's slate. If you wanted to spend up on tight end, it's nothing new to us. We all know what McBride, Jonnu Smith, Kelsey, and Njoku. I think all the prices are pretty fair on the expensive guys. I wouldn't go anywhere below Njoku in terms of spending up. Laporte has been tough. Isaiah Likely is tough. Mark Andrews has been tough, kind of splitting things with Likely. But I like Hunter Henry a lot. An honorable mention with no Disley. Keep an eye out on this. I don't know if I'm going to end up picking him, but with Disley out, Stone Smart is bare minimum price at $4,500. And if Ladd McConkey were to miss this game, he would be a number 3 option behind Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer. I think Stone Smart could be in play. He came in, Disley got hurt at the half last game. He came in and caught 3 catches for 54 yards. Now, he hasn't had any sort of a sample size in his career on being a pass catcher. He could just go out there and be a blocker, but the Chargers aren't exactly stacked at the receiver position, so they might need to use Stone Smart. He could be a red zone threat. It's a great matchup here. As I was talking about with Justin Herbert earlier, it's a nice high over-under. We have is this game at 425? It is. We have a 45 over-under. Chargers are 3-point favorites. I'm not saying, lock him in your lineups, but I think he's someone you want to keep an eye out on with no Hayden Hurst and no Will Disley for the Chargers on Sunday. And then for defense, I'll go through it quick. If you want to spend up, the Ravens look fantastic against the Giants. I don't see the Giants generating too much offense, even at home against this Ravens defense with DeVito starting. They're 17-point dogs. So if you want to spend up, fine. If you want to go cheap, I think the Jaguars defense at 3,300 looks pretty damn good. The Jets offense obviously has been struggling all year. One of the lowest over-unders on the slate. It actually is, it's the lowest over-under in Week 15. There's no game that goes below 43. There's no game that goes below 43, and the Jets and Jaguars is at 40 and a half. Jaguars are at home. They just played pretty well against the Titans. I don't mind them. They're almost bare minimum. Fine, 3,300. If you wanted to look at another defense, who's the other defense I liked? Carolina Panthers against the Cowboys. They're only 3,400. They're at home. They've had some decent weeks the last month or so. 9-4, 8-4. I don't mind punting a defense. I think the Jaguars and Panthers look pretty good at home against pretty bad offenses for Week 15. That'll sum it up for this video, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Punch in that Guru credit code. Let's have a huge Week 15. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.